Hi, Ray. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to this assessment, which is on Unit BSBWRT 311, Write Simple Documents. As you know, we are conducting this interview to acknowledge your prior learning and experience. We have seen previously that you have knowledge and skills in your field. So we're just going to be today doing a bit of question and answering. So we'll go through a few questions. It will take about 5 to 10, 15 minutes about the documents that you use in your current workplace. Do you have any questions?
No.
No? Okay. So I've sent all the documents that you need for these questions. If you need extra time or for me to repeat or rephrase the question, please let me know. Before we start, I need to explain how the marking of this assessment will work. So as you're aware, there is a component called not yet competent and your right to appeal. So if in any section of your assessments you are not satisfactory, that means that in the whole of your assessment you are not yet competent. So if that does happen throughout any of your assessments, please don't hesitate to come back to me and email me and let me know, and we can talk about how to assist you in that. And from that process, if you're also then not satisfied or not happy, you do have the right to appeal those decisions based upon your assignment, which is in the handbook as well as our website. Do you understand all of that? And have you read the handbook about the rights to appeal?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. So, as you know, this assessment has a few parts to it. So the first part we'll do is your questioning, and you are also aware that there are at least three other documents that you need to submit that you use in your workplace. Will you be ready with those soon? Do you need any help with those? How are you going with that?
Yeah, I can send them soon.
Okay, excellent. So as I said before, this is a part three of your RPL. So the first section will be questioning. So we're about to do that in a moment. The next section will be observations, which is linked to the questioning. So I'll be looking to see how well you communicate, how well you respond to the questions, if you've covered all the foundation skills necessary to be satisfactory in this unit. And then obviously the third one is the documents that you will provide with me at a later date. Did you have any questions before we start?
No.
No? All right. Before we begin, let's just talk about what your current role is and what are you doing in your workplace?
So I'm a lawyer. I've been a lawyer for 4 years. I'm looking to get promoted and just climb the ladder.
Okay, that sounds good. And how's all that going for you?
It's a challenge, but it's going good.
Oh, that's good. Good to hear. All right, let's begin the questions. Just bear with me as I write some of your answers. So, tell me about the types of documents you create in your workplace. What are they and who are they for?
A lot of emails and letters for clients or opponents or a court.
Yes. So, for one of those documents, tell me how you determine your audience purpose and the requirements for your document according to your organization's policies and procedures.
Uh, for an email, I think about if I have one or more recipients, if I need to copy anybody, and then I think about the shared knowledge and experience of those people to work out the type of language that I would use to communicate my message.
Excellent. Shared knowledge. Okay, for one of your documents, tell me how you determine the required format, style, and structure for the document.
We have writing style guides, and I try and introduce the topic, write down a few points of information, and then have a call to action at the end. Can you please, or the next step will be.
Excellent. For your documents, tell me how you would establish the correct method of communication.
Think about the length and detail
Yeah.
and how casual and in passing the communication is, or is it formal and detailed and very important? Then I would decide.
Excellent. For one of your documents, tell me how you would establish the key points to be included in your document.
I try to think about the primary message
Mm-hmm.
and any detail around that message that would be particularly relevant and useful.
Okay. How do you ensure that your draft meets the purpose and the requirements for the document?
Usually after I finished reading it, after I finished writing it, I would read it again from the top and often make some changes on the proofread.
Mm-hmm. How would you include any additional information required in your draft document? Do you have to obtain and include any additional information? If so, what are these?
Sometimes I would include an attachment or a link.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in your workplace, are there any documents that you must have a supervisor or colleague, for example, proofread before you can send them out?
Yes, the letters.
Mm-hmm. What changes did you have to make to one of your documents? Discuss how you ensured those changes were correctly made. For example, that the document was checked again before it was finalized.
Sometimes I have to be careful to be consistent in the way
Mhm,
that I describe things in the letter. Um, whether I say I, me, our firm,
mhm,
or ex-lawyers.
mhm,
And sometimes I have to resubmit it for approval, or I'm instructed to have a colleague check once I've made those changes.
mhm. Excellent. And how do you check your documents for spelling, grammar, and punctuation issues?
I use the Microsoft Word and the Outlook tools for
Mhm.
all of those things.
Excellent. What is your process for ensuring that documents are readable and the sentences and the sequencing of the paragraph and the structure of the document are correct?
I try to make it date order, chronological,
Mm-hmm.
I use numbered bullet points. That would be mostly what I do.
Okay, excellent. They sound great. What are two examples of your organization's policies and procedures for written documents?
We have to write communication on the expectation that a court might read it.
Mm-hmm.
So we want to be professional and courteous about the issues and the people that we and the organizations we're discussing. And another policy is that we don't commit to conduct that we can't control. Like we won't say uh, our client will do that task by tomorrow. If we can't
Mm-hmm.
control it, we would use other language,
Yeah, that's very
like our
important.
client says that they will.
Yeah. When would you use general emails in a work setting to communicate something and why?
If it was a short, quick inquiry, maybe requiring uh, a faster turnaround time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When would you use procedures to communicate something and why?
The procedures that tell me to use a letter would be if it was a longer, more complex communication and maybe one that needed to be circulated to a group of people within the organization. So it looked more professional on letterhead.
Okay. When should you use procedures to communicate? Oh, we just did that one, sorry. When would you use business letters and why?
Uh, Probably the same answer I gave, but also if we might want to use that communication in evidence later, again, we'd like it to look more formal.
Mhm.
And so we would use letters for those things that we think will need to be relied on later.
When would you use meeting agendas and why?
I use those to list the issues that we will cover in the meeting
Mhm.
to give everybody a focus and a structure for what will be discussed.
And can you give me three examples of different format styles and structures for your documents?
The email and letter that I discussed, and a third one would be sometimes a PowerPoint presentation.
Mhm. And what kind of different formats and styles could you use for those?
Uh, Smaller text in emails and letters, much larger text for PowerPoints. Uh, I could include images in any one of those by cut pasting the image or the
Mhm.
extract of some other important document that I need.
Excellent. All right, that's the end of our questioning. Well done. Um, you you did really, really well. All your answers were very detailed, and I could clearly see that you had an understanding about documenting and um, how to make that shown to communicate that with your fellow colleagues. That's excellent. So I'd like to inform you that these questions you have a satisfactory outcome. Well done. And as well as the observation side, you will have also been marked satisfactory. So once I receive your three documents, I can assess you on your assessment as a whole, and give you an overall outcome for your assessment. And just a little bit of feedback from this session. I was wondering if you could tell me what went well and any improvements for myself.
I liked that you gave me the details about what appeal rights that I had if needed. I'd forgotten about that when I read it in the materials.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other question?
What can I improve on?
I was a bit worried when you told me about the appeal rights. I thought maybe I'd already done something wrong. So maybe
No.
just warn people that everything's going really well. I'm just reminding you about your right.
Yeah, no, we do have to let all our students know that, just in case. Yes. Did you have any other questions before we wrap up?
No.
All right. Thank you so much, Ray, for your time, and I'll see you shortly. Thank you. Bye.